He went from one of Hollywood's hottest big names to a Tinseltown pariah. But what's the true story behind Armie Hammer's fall from grace? By the beginning of the 2020s, Armie Hammer was one of Hollywood's hottest actors. After his star-making turn in 2010's The Social Network, he was cast in major motion pictures including Mirror, Mirror, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and On the Basis of Sex. He also received critical and awards season acclaim for his role opposite Timothée Chalamet in 2017's Call Me By Your Name.
I'd kiss you if I could.
Hammer once said he had been inspired to become an actor after having a dream in which he co-starred alongside Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. In 2014, he told Cherwell, "There's something about it that feels like a bigger message that I'm getting. I'm supposed to be an actor. I knew that I wanted to participate in the fantasy." Hammer kept busy even as the coronavirus pandemic gripped the world. As late as 2020, he starred in a film adaptation of the 1938 novel Rebecca, but that's where things began to fall apart. In early 2021, Armie Hammer was accused of sexual assault by a woman identified as Effie. The woman claimed that she and Hammer had been engaged in a tumultuous 4-year relationship during which he had attacked her on multiple occasions. Effie wrote in an Instagram post, "I have lived in fear of him, and for a long time, I tried to dismiss his actions towards me as a twisted form of love. Now that he no longer has any power over me, I have come to understand that the immense mental hold he held over me was incredibly damaging on many levels."
As he became increasingly more violent, he abused me mentally, emotionally, and sexually.
Effie's story hit the headlines, and more individuals soon came forward with their own accusations. In the aftermath, Hammer was dropped by his agency and publicist and fired from several projects to which he was attached. Meanwhile, Hammer and his representatives worked to clear his name. In a statement, his attorney said, "With the truth on his side, Mr. Hammer welcomes the opportunity to set the record straight." After the allegations of sexual violence broke against Hammer, a much weirder rumor soon began to fly, that the actor was a cannibal. A number of supposed texts were even leaked that allegedly proved the rumors, with one reading, "I want to eat you," and another reading, "I am 100% a cannibal."
There's this hole then darker underbelly that just starts getting you sicker and sicker.
The claims were compounded by suspicious social media behavior that he displayed in the past. In 2017, he liked tweets about rope bondage on his public-facing X account, while in 2019, he posted a video of his then toddler sucking on his toes with the hashtag #FootFetishOnFleek. When the public reacted unfavorably towards the post, Hammer's wife at the time, Elizabeth Chambers Hammer, attempted to smooth things over. She commented on a repost of the video, "Sharing the video on Instagram was definitely not the best move on A's part, but I can assure you that our children's safety and well-being is always our first priority." The sexual assault charge against Armie Hammer was dismissed in 2023. In a statement, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said, "There is insufficient evidence to charge Mr. Hammer with a crime. Due to the complexity of the relationship and inability to prove a non-consensual, forcible sexual encounter, we are unable to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt." But even though the charges were dropped, Hammer had to try to clear his name and rescue his career. Speaking to Airmail in 2023, he said, "I'm here to own my mistakes. Take accountability for the fact that I was an asshole, that I was selfish, that I used people to make me feel better, and when I was done, moved on." Hammer claimed that all of his sexual encounters had been consensual, and that he himself had once been abused as a young adult, which in turn affected his sexual life. He said, "I was powerless in the situation. I had no agency in the situation. My interests then went to, I want to have control in the situation sexually." In the midst of the media backlash against him, Hammer fled to the Cayman Islands with his family. During this self-inflicted exile, the actor earned money as a timeshare salesman. A source told Variety at the time, "The reality is he's totally broke and is trying to fill the days and earn money to support his family." The source also revealed that Hammer was managing an apartment complex to help support his family. At one point, he also headed to a rehab facility in Florida for an extended stay, which was reportedly paid for by Robert Downey Jr. Hammer also stayed at Downey Jr.'s house upon his return to Los Angeles, which is where he eventually reunited with his estranged wife and children. As it turned out, Hammer's family was on his mind even during his lowest moments. He told Airmail, "I just walked out into the ocean and swam out as far as I could and hoped that either I drowned or was hit by a boat or eaten by a shark. Then I realized that my kids were still on shore and that I couldn't do that to my kids." In September 2022, Discovery Plus released House of Hammer, a documentary that detailed Armie Hammer's various indiscretions and delved deeper into the history of his family.
Every generation in my family has been involved in dark misdeeds, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
The series tells the story of Armie's great-grandfather, Armand, and the many misdeeds of the men in the Hammer family. Casey Hammer's self-published book, Surviving My Birthright, served as source material for the show, which alleged generations of abusive marriages, threatening behavior, and excessive lifestyles. She told Time, "I wanted to be able to tell my story and help people heal as opposed to watch my nephew implode and self-destruct." Armie Hammer's personal life was also falling apart behind the scenes. In 2020, several weeks before the sexual assault claims against him were made public, the actor's then-wife, Elizabeth Chambers, filed for divorce. Reportedly, she had intercepted text messages between her husband and another woman. In 2021, she posted on Instagram, "For weeks, I've been trying to process everything that has transpired. Heartbreak aside, I am listening and will continue to listen and educate myself on these delicate matters. I didn't realize how much I didn't know."
I think we need to take this moment as a moment to listen.
The couple remained estranged throughout Hammer's public backlash, despite living near one another in the Cayman Islands. But by 2022, the pair had reconciled platonically in an effort to better co-parent their children. A source told People magazine, "The past year hasn't been easy, but she and Armie have always had love for each other. They're slowly figuring things out as a couple, but being parents to their 2 kids will always come first." Despite this reconciliation, Hammer and Chambers' divorce was finalized in 2023. In 2023, Hammer came back into the spotlight to try and set things straight. In his Airmail interview, he revealed a number of insights about his life and detailed more about the allegations against him. He also admitted that there was an imbalance of power between him and the women involved. Hammer went on to claim that he was, in his words, massively in debt, with about $14 to $16 million lost in legal fees and dropped acting roles. He also stated that he wasn't legally cleared to work in the Cayman Islands, as he didn't have a valid work permit, and that he was living with a sober companion at the time. He said, "It feels like my recovery has taken a turn from me being the one who needs help staying sober to me being able to help others." By 2024, Hammer was ready to reveal even more about his alleged abuse in the wake of his public downfall. When he appeared on Piers Morgan Uncensored, the namesake host wasted no time in addressing what he called the elephant in the room. That is, Hammer's supposed cannibalism.
You know what you have to do to be a cannibal? You have to have actually eaten someone.
Have you ever eaten any human flesh?
No.
The actor also admitted that he had a sexually charged relationship with Effie the accuser, and that he did in fact use a knife on ex-girlfriend Paige Lorenz during an intimate moment. Hammer also shared that for a time, he was only allowed to see his children with a supervised therapist visit.
It was a dark time for everybody.
If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE 4673.